And we are live. So, Arlene is on her way. As you can see, she'll be sitting right there. I am working it out the best of my ability. I do believe. Let's rise up to meet the challenge. There we go. Let's give it a shot. And ta-da! You have appeared. Oh, we're so happy. Yay. Peace and blessings, my dear. It's such a pleasure to see you. Thank you for being present with us. We are here today as givers of wisdom. For I am King Obadele, also known as King Teasdell, giver and receiver of a deeper wisdom, with my beloved wife, Arlene Kahet. Kahet meaning
purifying light of God.
And we want to give thanks for the controversial new year. For I have discovered also that the new year begins in the Kemet, ancient Kemet, in June, at the summer solstice. And the new year starts in, I think it's March, on the Jewish calendar. It's the month of Aviv. So y'all guys can look it up and figure that out, because I got too much, I don't have enough. That's what it is. Anyway, moving forward, we are going to give thanks and honor to recognizing that this is the beginning of a new. However you choose to look at it, everything is cyclic. And in the cyclical aspect, once you reach that solar return, reset is never a bad idea. And reset sometimes is the best idea. Especially seeing that we had such a tremendous 2020. We're placed now to where we have a different type of sight. So on my Blog Talk Radio program, we have a solar technology. It is a theory that I've been driven to bring to the stage. It's an awakening through alternate sight, because we have to see things from a different perspective, primarily because things are changing. Things have changed to such a degree to where if we ignore change, we ignore our existence. I want you to chew on that one now. Any words you have to share with us there? Oh, with the exception of, on my Facebook page, we had celebrated the global Kwanzaa given to us by the Teaching Artist Institute, of which we had various Africans of the diaspora participate with us, as well as the motherland, in their learning of the principles of Kwanzaa, which was really great because they are loving it. They're eating it up. Blessings, Asola Brown. Hafizah. Hey, what's up? That's my cousin. And Nicole, blessings. So that was really, really exciting to have the continent, the continental Africans, actually absorb the principles of Kwanzaa. They find the Nguzu Saba very, very refreshing and rewarding. And it is a blessing. So we was excited. We want to give thanks to Kim Poole for being so diligent in making that happen. We had people from the Netherlands. We've had people from the Caribbean. We had people from Germany. Many locations in Africa itself. Brazil, South Africa. And the list goes on and on. But we are here.
We are here.
We are here.
We are here with you.
We are here with you to give unto you this segment of Kahlil Gibran's The Prophet that speaks of teaching. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about that I was going to run get a book and share with you guys something. There's this. I've actually accepted the role of teacher. My wife kept telling me, and some people in the audience also has been sharing with me that I'm bringing forth an element of giving knowledge, if one may say. Mm-hmm. And in the giving of knowledge, what I'm really doing is just opening up that which has been shared with me to share with you. Because one of the facts that I've come to realize is we on this planet are here to share. Whatever is given to you is given to you to share with someone else. Because if you don't share it, what happens to it? What's the purpose? For your own benefit? That's crazy.
And that's not really how the world works.
It's not. And so, boom, I got thrown into this thing, and I'm enjoying it. I have to make it happen for myself, and I do. So there is something on Facebook called, I'm sorry, not Facebook. There's this new app called Clubhouse. Mm-hmm. It's so phenomenal to where I had to buy an iPhone. Yes, I did. And I'm not an iPhone person, mm-hmm. but this app is in its beta stage, and it is specific to the iPhone. So I'm about to go into a new era. We're about to start teaching a class, actually. It's going to be a course called Attaining Mastery of Living Awareness. One of the reasons why we're bringing this book to the stage is because it helps the audience recognize and awaken to things that have been shared with us, things that we have been blessed to have the download of. So, with that being said, I put forth what my biography is on this Clubhouse this morning. And it goes like this, and we're going to get into the book, but I just have to share this because it's kind of exciting. And it goes as like so. Empirical philosopher of life, love power, certified spiritual life coach, speaker, author, and host of blog talks, Kingology. With 20 plus years of real-time advanced life emergency experience, transmuted into becoming a modern-day sage of the esoteric divine study of spiritual evolution. Now, readying to embrace others to achieve their royal authority in attaining mastery of living awareness. See, I was smiling from ear to ear, but my wife ain't even cracked a smile. This is her first time hearing it, and I thought it might have like made a move or something. No response.
You know, but I live with the wisdom.
Huh?
I live with the wisdom.
Oh, so it's getting boring to you now.
No, it's you. He over here putting words in my mouth. I did not
No, she
say
didn't
that.
say that. No,
I
she
did
didn't.
not say that.
And it's funny. We said earlier we had I had a reading on an app I was looking at that said you have to start speaking of yourself in a higher conscious awareness. So if I said that, then those were my words, which wisdom is never a boring thing.
No, it's not.
So.
You naughty boy, you.
I know. I got to do better. And I shall. So, anything you'd like to share before we start the reading?
Well, with this year, let's just say that I think that 2020, as challenging as it has been, and as many lives that have walked over to the other side, I think that it is giving rise to a new or a reawakening of whatever it is that is within you that is looking to come out. So if you don't know what your divine work is, then I would suggest that your intention be that you search for what that is. And if you know what that is, then go ahead and work on it. This is the time. In essence, we are evolving into a different type of culture, a different type of world. There are going to be a great deal of opportunities, people whose main focus have been in helping people to heal. Go ahead and do that because the time is now, because the people are needing it. And the opportunities for you to step into your purpose is definitely here. Allow for that energy to come forward and
she's going to talk some more until I come back. Keep talking.
Allow that to be a thing for you. I would say that for myself, I had several different epiphanies throughout 2020. And near the end of the year, I had come to this place of understanding that I had been working continuously to overcome some emotional obstacles, and just as the year was phasing out, I removed what I would consider a 40-year-old emotional boulder. And that boulder had to do with unforgiveness. And so much of 2020 was spent on me forgiving. And here's the thing that's really interesting about that particular aspect of overcoming it. So with those fears and resentments, those pains that you carry in your body, you don't know really who you are. And so I've been in a place of really having to be in a place of rediscovering myself. Especially and near in the month of December, I came to the realization that I was repeating some patterns that were definitely familial in terms of of in terms of weight. And what I realized was I was doing a pattern, or I was engaging in a pattern that had been set forth by my mother. And I had an epiphany that I did not want to do, or did not want to have the experience of having my children be in a place of having to experience what I experienced with the transition of my mother, because it was preventable. So I have recommitted myself. I don't necessarily call it a resolution. It is just a decision that I made to live a little bit differently. And I'm largely feeling that me letting go of the 40-year-old boulder, emotional boulder, has allowed me to make that decision more out of a peaceful place than I think in previous years. And also seeking out methods that will be able to aid me in that process, to process the new energy that is, or not even new energy, but the unimpeded energy of the emotions that were locked in the body. It is allowing me to make that transition in a more peaceful state than I think I had ever done before, because I have been up and down in terms of I think this time I'm totally in a totally different mental and emotional place, because I'm having to relearn myself, and I'm having to sit in it. I'm having to sit in it, and so I find myself in that place. So, whatever that is, whatever is guiding you, or whatever is nudging you into the direction, go ahead and allow yourself to, this year, in these years to come, to realize who you really are in reference to the work that you would do, and allow yourself to be in it and do what is required to get yourself into that place of knowing who you are, without all of the things, or the bags that Erykah Badu, the bag lady stuff. And men have bags too, so
Oh, no doubt.
I'm not just
luggage.
Luggage.
Men have luggage.
Men have luggage. So allow yourself to be in a place of letting go of those things that no longer serve you, and so you get to yourself, so you can, okay, get to know yourself.
I was like, we got plenty of heat. It's every frozen. I'm like, oh, my brain.
The screen, dear, the screen.
Oh gosh. Okay, so.
But I am complete. We as a culture, we as this world are being forced into this new space. Allow yourself to figure out where it is that you fit in that particular dynamic. That is all I have to say. I am complete.
So, one of the things that I find interesting is I've been having a struggle as well. Mine was to embrace the teaching that is about to come forth. We've done the work, and teaching is a process of continually being a student. So continually being a student allows you that which is necessary to be a better teacher. We have comments.
Yes, being self.
Yes. So mood is a thing. And this is what I would like to share with you before we begin. Mood is a thing, and the vibration of a mood is necessary to enter into an atmosphere. If your atmosphere has fear in it, it cancels what your purpose is. Because I've been chewing on this passage. God did not give us a spirit of fear. First of all, just that alone makes you wonder, seeing everyone has fear. Where did it come from? Now, trust me, in my sharing of this, I'm speaking of the fear that paralyzes, that keeps you from action and moving in your purpose. Not the fear that protects you from harm, but that needs to be translated into identifying it appropriately. The reason I say that is because I have been fearful in stepping into and embracing the teaching aspect, because there are so many things that in thought that would make me question my own self and my own worth. I cut all that loose last week because it doesn't make any sense. So I did an experiment last night. I was telling my wife to feed my mind positive affirmations. So before getting out of bed, I started feeding my mind positive affirmations. And in the process of feeding my mind positive affirmations, I got up and then I meditated on these positive affirmations. In the meditation of the positive affirmations, I found energy, I found activity, I found the movement that was necessary to continue to move forward. So when a person does a resolution, as one has been calling it for years, you resolve to do something, but have you accomplished it? Have you stepped into it? The reason why you don't is because you step out of the mood. You don't allow the mood to remain with you. You let it die off. And when the scripture says pray continually, it means keep the thought fresh of what your purpose is, what you are aiming to do, what your intention is. In so doing, all the negative talk, all the negative vibrations will just bounce off of you. You end up becoming impervious because you have maintained a frequency to keep yourself in that place of surety of what you need to do, what you need to step into. So, I'm going to read what came to me after we do what it says here, speak to us of teaching. Okay? Because I think it's valuable. And that's the reason why I got up and I left, because Spirit was guiding me to say something about it. And I was telling myself, no, the negative talk. Because we oftentimes talk ourselves out of the thing we ought to be doing. Ain't nobody else there. It's you. And I've been doing it too long. And that's got to stop. Because there's too much available to give to people that has been given to me. And for me not to give it is a sense of selfishness, but then ignorance at the same time. And that type of indolence cannot be tolerated any longer. Not by me. No, sir. No, sir. So, with that being said, Arlene is going to read our first line, and then I will do my theatrics.
All right. So, then said a teacher, "Speak to us of teaching." And he said,
No man can reveal to you aught but that which already lies half asleep in the dawning of your knowledge. The teacher who walks in the shadow of the temple among his followers gives not of his wisdom, but rather of his faith and his lovingness. We just did Imani, and I just actually wrote that down on another piece of paper just the other day. I'll share that with y'all later. Continue with the reading, which is deep because I didn't know that he said that, but that's cool. Moving forward. If he is indeed wise, he does not bid you enter the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your own mind. The astronomer may speak to you of his understanding of space, but he cannot give you his understanding. The musician may sing to you of the rhythm which is in all space, but he cannot give you the ear which arrests the rhythm, nor the voice that echoes it. And he who is versed in the science of numbers can tell of the regions of weights and measure, but he cannot conduct you thither. For the wisdom of one man lends not its wings to another man. And even as each one of you stand alone in God's knowledge, I'm going to say that part again. And even as each one of you stands alone in God's knowledge, so must each one of you be alone in his knowledge of God and in his understanding of the earth. Again, I'm going to read that last section. And even as each one of you stands alone in God's knowledge, so must each one of you be alone in his knowledge of God and in his understanding of the earth. Wow. So, everybody talking about heaven ain't going there, heaven. Why do I say that? Because each one of you stands alone in God's knowledge. What that means is each man has his own life instructions. Boom! Don't make no difference who you are, where you are, what's going on. Each one of us has our own life instructions. Do you not know that each one of us have fingerprints that are not duplicated on this planet by anyone else? You are unique. So must each one of you be alone in his knowledge of God and in his understanding of the earth. that is an individual thing where a lot of people will come and say, listen, I don't talk about religion because that's personal. I understand what that means. Yet, we are never alone in the understanding. What do I mean when I say that? Each of us breathe the breath of life. And each of us are made as God ordains us to be. Processed from the union of an egg and a sperm to become one cell. So the two becomes one. And the environment that this must happen in must be prepared to embrace this magic for the materialization of what makes you who you are today. So that one cell receives the instruction to multiply and become more. The one becomes two and the two become four. And it continues that process of mitosis throughout your entire life, because there's cell replication and cell rejuvenation. And as we get older, so it is told, the process begins to wean. But there's other factors that are involved in that as well. But in saying that, my point is to bring to you that there is no fear in what another man's beliefs may be, or what another person's preference in their spirituality has in regards to that individual. But when it comes to the collective, the need of truth, harmony, order, righteousness, or right thinking, reciprocity, the process of giving, the process of circulation, balance, which is key, and justice are factors of divine knowledge, wisdom, and law that must be adhered to for a harmonious life with others. In so doing, the propriety of identifying what belongs to somebody else belongs to them, and what belongs to you belongs to you. And the compassion that we have for each other is what teaches us everything else we need. So, those who are aware, I spoke of certain virtues that are tied into an ancient principle known as Ma'at, which is the divine laws of life in and of itself. Now, the reciprocity of teaching brings also to the teacher that which the teacher also need be taught. So no matter who you are, we are all students and teachers. So what does that old saying say? When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And when the teacher is ready, the student will appear.
True, true. So what I did like about this particular passage, and I'm just going to give an analogy before I really go into that. So I want you to imagine that all children are living in the same household and they all have the same experience, but their interpretation of that experience differs. So truly, this is what this particular passage is explaining. So he says, the teacher who walks in the shadows of the temple among his followers gives not of his wisdom, but rather of his faith and his lovingness. So the thing is that whatever the teacher, the spiritual teacher, is experiencing in terms of their wisdom, they are giving of this energy. They are giving this, they're giving of this energy of their interpretation of their wisdom. And because it is coming from the aspect of the infinite within them, they are disseminating the information, that everybody's interpretation of that information is going to be different. And a lot of times people get kind of caught up in each individual's interpretation, but everybody is having their own journey. Everybody is having their own walk. And infinite intelligence is communicating with that individual what it is that they need to receive from the information in order to, again, I guess you could say, propagate that wisdom, that internal wisdom that is developing within each of those individuals who are receiving the information. And the truth goes for just simply knowledge, because he speaks here that the astronomer may speak to you of his understanding of space, but he cannot give you his understanding. So again, the only thing that the astronomer can do is give you the information, but the thing is that when the student hears the information, there is a deeper understanding that student may actually get, that the infinite is looking to express through that individual, to express out to the world. So a lot of times, people often get into arguments about this, but it's really unnecessary, because the divine is looking to express itself in different ways to different people.
Through expansion.
Through expansion. And expressing it in different ways through different individuals. This is what infinite intelligence does, and they want to share. I mean, infinite intelligence wants the individual to share this knowledge, because there is this level of interdependence that just seems to be a universal law, that when we share with each other, you turn the camera, hon.
That's okay. It'll come back.
Yes. Only
Pay attention. Continue thought.
Only if we press the button. However, but as we all share in what it is that we are being downloaded with and given, the more internal wisdom that infinite intelligence is imparting to us. And that's why you may often hear teachers say, that student, taught me more about myself than I ever realized.
That's right.
I'm supposedly to be the authority, but I learned more about myself because I worked with this student, because they were the most challenging individual I had to deal with. And I had to pull within like a deeper reservoir. So we're all doing it. We're all doing it. it does not really pay to be quiet about the knowledge that we have, because it is meant to be shared with each other. It is meant for our wisdom, our wisdom. It is meant for this internal activation that infinite intelligence is looking to continuously propagate through us all.
The edification of the true temple of humanity. So it's interesting when he says here, the teacher who walks in the shadow of the temple. You notice that? He said the shadow of the temple. Now, each one of us are here as the continuation of creation. If no one ever told you that, you may want to write that down. But each experience builds upon the next. Each generation is also supposed to build upon the next. And each experience that you have in your life's living is to build upon the next. So there is never truly failure, only learning. Okay? Because you never lose. You either win or you learn. If you're not learning, that's when the problem comes in. But then, that's why the need of resolution is so clear. And sometimes that's what brings resolution to clarity. So, it says, the teacher who walks in the shadow of the temple among his followers gives not of his wisdom, but rather of his faith and his lovingness. So, what the teacher believes and holds as a conviction is therefore expressed because of the love he has for those of whom he has been blessed to share time with. That's why we're here. I was asked to speak on Imani faith, and Spirit gave me this, and it said, faith has nothing to do with what you believe in. Faith has to do with what you love, how you love, and that you love properly and authentically. In this space alone, then belief comes to play in your every action, every behavior, and purpose of living that love. If you are not loving, it's because your faith needs repair. We are needing healing. Always. All of us. Faith is knowing that healing is not only your birthright, but it is yours to keep. God is love and life. And God protects love, and you are that expression of love that should also do the exact same. Now, this is what Spirit led my heart to write just the other day. I think it was Friday. It was Imani. So when I saw this section here, it goes to show how living thought generates and manifests that which is the blessing. For it goes, the next line says, if he is indeed wise, he does not bid you into the house of his wisdom, but rather leads you to the threshold of your own mind.
Ashe.
That's that individuality. You know, you have to see for yourself. You have to feel for yourself. You have to recognize the mood and live in it according to that which develops and grows you as the expansion of the expression of what God has already put inside of you, so that your fruit will come forth from that which is already given.
And I suppose in essence that's the difference between well, and that is the difference between a person who would be like a cult leader and a spiritual teacher who is continuously getting you to a place of recognizing the divine within yourself, so that you can bring out the energy and the information that your own divine wisdom is looking to sprout forth from you. And I know that oftentimes, excuse me, oftentimes, especially if I'm working with an individual, it's why I share with an individual, like I can recognize a larger part of myself in people that I work with or who come to me as clients, and I share with them my journey, because I do not want them to be in a place of necessarily edifying me or viewing me as some all-knowing.
And to put you on a pedestal.
Yeah, and put me on a pedestal. I will tell them, this person that you see right now, that did not just happen overnight. I have not always been that person. This came over an evolved period of time. The emotional healing came over an evolved period of time. And if there is anybody who is sort of looking to suck you in, and not going to that place of saying, this is an idea, or this is what I did. Put it to the test. If it works for you, great. Give it a period of XYZ, generally 30, 60 to 90 days. There are some practices that take longer than that, but give it some time to work on you individually so that you can recognize the divine in yourself, so that you can be in a place of loving and honoring yourself. And once you are in that place of loving and honoring yourself and recognizing the nature of the divine within you, then you are able to give more to others.
Because it is inside of you that is also the seed that the teacher or the educator should educe of you. To educe means to draw from, to draw forth from. Okay, so when the teacher comes to activate inside of you the seed so that it can start to grow. So the teacher is to fertilize, the teacher is to water, the teacher is to come and give the nourishment of that which is already inside of you to be brought forth. So it says the astronomer may speak to you of his understanding of space, but he cannot give you his understanding. It is an exchange.
Yes, it is.
It is. It is so important to recognize that. Good hit right there, no doubt. And space is an unusual aspect of our understanding from the past as being empty, when in actuality, space is the unified field of all there is, and all of the manifestation of everything within it. Because space is not empty. Right here is substance. And we have been able to identify that you can, from thought alone, bring things into being. So let me just step over here real quick and share what I mean when I speak of that. Because like I said, after I went through my meditation, I allowed myself to stay in a space of conscious awareness. And it was 9:30, and from 9:30 until 9:56, which is interesting because I said I'm starting my journey at the 9:30 hour, and at 9:56 is the date of my birth, in essence, and my meditation, which is today, 01/03/2021. There's threes all in this, and there's a metaphysical meaning behind three. So I've come to the place of recognizing I am here to find the lost. I have come also so that the lost can be found, and they must. No one on this planet Earth has my fingerprints. I am pure life energy in human form, and so are you. I am here in need of a spectacular help to form our search party of many to come. Because they're out here, they're waiting of this entire globe, so that not one is left behind. Because of the manipulations of fallacies and deceptive practices, mankind needs to see the script writ through activity not becoming of God, but as becoming of a greater awakening through sight beyond sound, because you have a lost hope and faith of the world, of the word in this world. And there's so many people kind of all twisted up behind religion. But as we look at the turn of events from one point to the next, which I will go in deeper detail, of the slave trade, of Trump currently not conceding the office, these things are symbolic of things that happen outside of time and space. Now, the world should have come to know by now that anything made manifest in the physical had to, by divine law, had to have been made manifest in the spirit first. In other words, the unseen comes before that which is seen, or thought precedes things. Before a pregnancy, there must be the desire to do. Without desire, there is no act. And without act, there is no action. So that came to me this morning. I'm going to tighten it up and find out what Spirit is actually sharing with me, but I wanted to share that with you all because I think it applies to what we're dealing with here as far as the teacher is concerned, as far as recognizing that through the word, it will spark inside of your seed that which brings forth what is required of your listening, so that when you bring that, when that manifests within you, then you come to share that. Because that's what life is all about. The continuation of creation for divine operation is always for expansion and fuller expression. This means the production of something that has not gone before, something entirely new, not included in the past experience, but proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. So the musician may sing to you of the rhythm which is in all space, as I stated before, the unified field, that which is the universe, the one song, holds the planets in its place, as well as the stars, and everything in an orderly fashion.
Mm-hmm. And that goes for knowledge too.
Goes for knowledge as well, because he cannot give you the ear which arrests the rhythm, nor the voice that echoes it. You have to do that. And he who is versed in the science of numbers can tell of the regions and weights and measures, but he cannot conduct you thither, because your instructions is that which has already been given you of God. It's like one of the ministers have shared with me. He said, inside the fish is what is required for him to swim. Inside of the acorn is required for it to become an oak. So inside of you is that which is required to be more.
There's a little bit more to that more too.
Oh, so much more. And be more. So I think I've exhausted what I had to say. I mean, sometimes what happens with Spirit and me is I'll get this, okay, shut up. And so I stop talking.
Okay. Yeah.
So we good?
I know that I'm good. I'm good. I know that I'm good. I feel that I am complete.
Excellent. We appreciate you. Oh, why is that? Oh, this is the screen is acting like that. So I'm working it out. I'm learning. I'm learning as I'm going and as I'm growing.
Okay.
Can't help myself. Yes, as the Son, so we are. Thank you. We give thanks.
Yes. So you want to go ahead and close us out? Any closing and parting words that you want to share with the family?
There's a Blog Talk Radio program tomorrow. I've been working on doing that 9 o'clock every night. I am introducing the theory of King's philosophy, which is called Kingology. So I am the first Kingologist. And Kingology is a theory that goes deeper into some of the things we shared today. That which I call Kingology is an awakening through alternate sight. When I spoke of the slave trade and Africans being going through the experience that they had, what I saw in spirit was when the third of the heavenly host was cast out of heaven, down to the earth. But the ruler, the one who had authority over them, was also cast out. But that was the reason why they all were cast out. Now, check this out. This is what Spirit revealed to me. Then it says, the Lord hovered over the waters. So this happened all before the beginning of time. The Lord means owner. So now the owner was watching over all of this until the appointed time that was necessary for there to be a shift in the whole dynamic of things. And right now we are experiencing that shift. Black Lives Matter. So much more than anybody could possibly imagine. Mm-hmm. Because this is time for the release. So whether it's true or not that there was Egyptians that had Hebrews as slaves, it really doesn't matter. What matters is understanding what that's about. That's about liberation and the conditioning that had occurred. So the conditioning of what is spoken of in the scripture on the Hebrews is clearly identified. But look at the conditioning that has happened to us as a people of African descent that is still reflecting itself.
And it seems to be global too.
It is global. And the thing is it's time for that shift. It is time for that change. The Schumann frequency of the earth itself has shifted. Because it is time for us to reach a different level of vibration, to receive the vibratory frequency, to better understand the things that could not be understood by those of ancient times, because we are entering into a new age. It was beautiful to look outside to see the Jupiter and Saturn that people always sing songs about, but they were in alignment. Matter of fact, all the planets were in alignment last week, this past month, the 2020. They, I believe, call it the age of Aquarius, and you guys can look into that even deeper. But it's 7 o'clock, and you know what the TikTok do? Because she has to stop me sometimes.
See, and I was asking him if he had anything else to say. Obviously,
Of
he
course,
had more.
I had a lot to say, but we need to close this program out. So we'll let you do that. Blessings. We love you guys. You know that.
Alrighty, so you want me?
Yes, I love the things you share.
We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We thank God for you, and we know that wherever you are, God is.
Yes, we do. And I'm just going to add this, right? Now, she gets in motion over here, right? And she'll start reaching for the phone, and she'll start pressing buttons and carries on. And I don't know if you noticed it, but this was one of the few times in which I've done it. And I was noticing her getting a bit... It's a strange feeling. It's a strange feeling because when she does that, that's what happens to me. But she had the opportunity to experience it. Because you'd be like, what's he about to do? What is he about to do? And I'm trying to stay focused on a thought. And so I was looking at her and seeing how it was messing with her. But I wasn't doing it intentionally. It was just that there was something that was happening that I wanted to respond. And looking at and seeing her response, I was like, oh, so now it's her turn to feel that way. But I didn't want her to feel that way. I really didn't. But with that being said, I just had to add that. I love you guys. There's no doubt about it.
All right. Peace, family.
Namaste.
We love you.